Hello everyone, I'm Nehal Naidu and you're watching BigMint YouTube channel और आज हमारे साथ हैं मिस्टर राकेश मोहन जी, इंडियन इकोनॉमिस्ट एंड फॉर्मर डिप्टी गवर्नर रिजर्व बैंक ऑफ इंडिया दिल्ली. First question is, how do you forecast global trade war shaping India's trade policies and export strategy in the next decade?
That's obviously a very difficult answer because we still don't know what's really going to happen. If you just take two possibilities, one, that the current kind of disruption continues, in which case global trade will come down, and so India will have to shape its own trade strategy to be much more part of Asia in particular, and of course continue its current efforts at arriving at trade agreements with Europe, with the UK and the US. But I think that we will need much greater skill in doing our trade negotiations, keeping in mind our country's interests. At the same time, I would say is that we do need to reduce our tariffs in general, so that we are much closer to the ASEAN level of tariffs to be part of the global supply chain. But of course, we have to be much more vigilant in terms of the impact on particular sectors of the US imposition of high tariffs, particularly on China, because that will lead to excess capacity in China, and so we'll have to be particularly conscious of that.
Sir, now my second question is, how should India position itself in global supply chain to reduce dependency on China while boosting manufacturing competitiveness?
I generally don't like the term dependency in any country, okay, as long as it is fair, right? So the fact is that at present, China is the most competitive country in the world in terms of manufacturing. Also, their share of total global manufacturing is around 30%. So we ought to be we ought to continue importing items from them, which are the best for us. Okay? What I would add is that there's a huge scope for increasing Indian exports to China. What does mean is that both the government as well as the private sector, different companies, must study much more carefully on what they import from other countries, because we are very low down on the list of countries who export to them. And of course, we have a very large trade deficit. And the only way that can be plugged is if we really study much more what is it that they import and we export to them. But I'm very glad that there is such a gathering to do with the steel industry, because it is among the most important industries in the country, and it is among the more competitive industries that we have. And we can just see the kind of growth that the three main producers, that is Tata Steel, JSW and SAIL, the kind of growth that they've had in the last number of years, and the production having gone up from what it was 25 years ago or thereabouts to what it is now, and the fact that if we expect our country to continue to grow at 6.5 to 7%, with a lot of construction, a lot of infrastructure, etc., urban infrastructure, the demand for steel will continue to grow, and so they have a good future.